What is going on, you guys? Today I have another quick video review for you. This one is from Travis Travels Vietnam and it's called Why He Won't Return to the US After 6 Years in Vietnam. Let's get into it.
I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I moved to Vietnam almost 6 years ago. At first, everything seemed like total chaos. It did take me a while to adapt, but it didn't take too long for me to realize that I would live here a very long time and maybe never go back to the US. Vietnam is a crazy place. It's loud, it's busy, there's constantly moving parts, and sometimes it seems like it never settles down. But surprisingly, I'm completely comfortable now, and when I go back to America, I have more feelings of stress and anxiety than I ever do in Vietnam. I really think the people around you affect your attitude and your mood, and now when I go back to America, I feel really disconnected from people. Besides your friends and your family, it's really hard to interact with anybody. And you might think that sounds normal, like of course you wouldn't randomly interact with strangers, right? But here in Vietnam, everybody seems more connected, like nobody's actually strangers. Every day I walk around the neighborhood, I say hi to everybody, everybody says hi back. When you're buying food from
Yeah, funny enough, obviously not every part of the world, but like what I've seen, for example, like South America and Southeast Asia, things like that. Like there's a lot of places where people are a lot more friendly than the US. So you don't have to feel so alone like you're always just working, sleeping, repeating.
the local markets or even in the convenience stores, you almost always chit-chat a little bit. It's not just a quick transaction and get out of there. I feel like everyone in America is just so busy, so rushed, just focused on the everyday grind. Money seems to be the biggest concern for most people. And that's fair when you're struggling to pay the bills every month. But here in Vietnam, material things are less important. Nobody cares how big your house is, what kind of car or motorbike you drive. Everybody works hard here as well, but when they come home after work, everyone's gonna sit down, have dinner with their family. In the evenings, all the uncles will sit out, the different neighbors, drink some beers together, chat shit. Despite the low income, nobody seems to be stressed about money or little things, and everybody just enjoys themselves every single day. I talk about it a lot, but the cost of living here is so amazing. For me, having the freedom to do whatever I want every day is the most important thing that I wouldn't trade for any price. I wouldn't enjoy having a big house and a fancy car in America if I had to wake up at 7 a.m. and drive to a job that I hate. Now I know I'm extremely fortunate to be in the position that I am, but I worked hard for a long time. I have a master's degree, I had a career for 10 years teaching autistic kids in an extremely stressful environment. And I only mention that because I know you could easily look at me, think I'm some lazy backpacker who doesn't want to work. But actually now I spend more time working on YouTube than any job I've ever had in my life. But the point is that it's on my terms and I enjoy doing it.
That's the big thing. He loves doing it, so he doesn't mind pouring more time into it. Because most people are building someone else's company, someone else's dream. So you give your whole life, and then you say, I'm going to do what I want when I retire, right? And that's at 65. I recently had a friend's dad pass away as soon as he retired. So think about that. You don't have as much time as you think that you have. And then also, I saw a video recently that was sort of talking about this, which I believe, honestly, because most of us are building someone else's dream, like working at a company, so that the person who created that can help other people and they're benefiting the most from it. Like they're making the most money and getting the most level of fulfillment. And that could be you, by the way. You could build something that you love. So think about the fact that the 40-hour work week or like the 8-hour work day is designed to keep you basically tired, anxious, and broke. And you think about it, like most people get off work and they don't accomplish anything else. Like they want to level up their career, their finances, or become self-employed, not work for anybody, start a business, level up their fitness, their social life, dating, etc. And they do none of these things because they say they'll do it before work, they don't. They go to work, they say they're going to do it after work, they don't. They scroll their phone, they watch Netflix, or do something else that is like a zombie, and they repeat that for their entire life until they're retired.
I wake up every morning without an alarm clock. I'll have a coffee and just sit around for an hour or two before I have to do anything. Then I'll start reading your comments, start thinking about the next video ideas. But whenever I want to, I can take a break, maybe play guitar here and there, go to the gyms in the afternoon when nobody's there, and then I'll come back and work for another 5-6 hours. Living in Vietnam with a low cost of living.
You get one life, and you're sitting here caring about what other people think. When even if you do what they want you to do, they're still going to judge you. They're still going to give you negativity. And if you think about it, like you're spending all this time when you're not going to get it back. That's your most valuable asset. You're trading it for money. And, when you retire, are you going to have the same body that you had when you were younger? When you could just build that lifestyle you want sooner rather than waiting all the way until then.
just allows me to keep living this way. I've talked a lot about my cost of living, but I'll give you a rough idea. I live good for about $1,200 a month. I've got a nice house, I eat good food every day, I can pretty much do whatever I want, and I have everything I need. Now let's talk about food for a minute. You can't really realize just how shit the food in America is until you've been outside of the country. And it's all tied together with the lack of work-life balance, right? Everybody's busy, so cheap options are the most convenient. But here in Vietnam, it's also cheap and fast, but the food is not just trash. What you think of as fast food joints like McDonald's just don't work in Vietnam because you can get higher quality food for faster and cheaper than McDonald's eating at a local Vietnamese joint. Here I'm eating a dish called hủ tiếu. It's just egg noodles, some meat, a bunch of greens and herbs, a salty pork bone broth. This meal costs about $1.50. It's delicious and really healthy.
Okay, one last thing on the previous point. You are basically, like, most people are living their entire life because of what other people told them, right? They're following those rules. And you never live for yourself. Are you really going to trade your most precious asset, time, and the one life that you have to get just enough to retire at 65? What is that? You think that's normal because that's what they told you. But there's a lot of people, I bring this up all the time, and it's more to it than just this guy, but John D. Rockefeller funded the public school system, and he's quoted in saying that he wants a nation full of workers and not free thinkers. Just think about that. And then transitioning to the food he's talking about. Yeah, different countries do different things with this, but like in America, there's a lot of processed things, chemicals, too much salt, too much sugar. Yeah, the list could go on, right? And then obviously it's expensive. When he just told you like that was like maybe $1.30 for that meal. So your quality of life goes way up because everything just gets better and it costs less. And then it frees up your brain power to basically do exactly what you want with your life. Build every single area out the way you want, and maybe even like start some type of like self-employment, some type of business where you can help other people.
It took about 3 minutes to come out after I sat down and ordered. Let me tell you a quick story while I eat. I'm a diehard Chicago Bears NFL football fan. I watch every single game, but in Vietnam, the games don't start until about 1 in the morning. So what I usually do is download the game the next morning, watch it the following day with the commercials already cut out. Now, occasionally for a really big game, I'll stay up and watch it live. And goddamn if the commercials are ridiculous. You spend half the time watching football and the other half of the time watching commercials. And what is every commercial about? Taco Bell, Doritos, buy this expensive car that you can't afford, take this pharmaceutical pill and soon you'll be frolicking in a meadow. Don't exercise, don't eat better, don't be satisfied with what you have, just spend money to buy happiness. It's seriously depressing to watch an NFL football game with commercials. Let's get into healthcare a little.
Let's talk about that for just a second. So they create a problem for you, and they sell you the solution for your whole life, right? The pharmaceuticals. They give you bad food so that you need to take the pharmaceuticals and go to the doctor. And the doctor sells you a surgery and medications and blah, 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 right? So they don't necessarily have your best interests in mind. And I'm not saying this to make it out like everybody's evil, but just keep this in mind. Like, the football games, it wastes your time. The commercials waste your time. You're rooting. Like, I get like the camaraderie and like the community aspect of sports. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, that can be exciting. But think about this, right? Like, you're not the one playing. So you're rooting for some other people that aren't in your circle. Like your family, your friends, or yourself. And you're spending that time eating French fries and chicken wings and burgers and beer. So you're literally like poisoning yourself. And that's what I was saying earlier. A lot of things are designed to create a vicious cycle to keep you anxious, broke, spending more, and tired. And you'll have just enough energy to drink more beer, eat more bad food, and not accomplish anything with your one life.
I think by now everyone knows that the healthcare system in America is a giant scam. You're paying hundreds of dollars every month for health insurance, but if something actually happens, you're still going to be on the hook for thousands of dollars. In the richest country in the world, everyone's terrified of having an accident because going to the hospital could financially cripple you. Here's the truth. You're getting ripped off by greedy people, and it doesn't have to be this way. I made it almost 5 years in Vietnam without ever going to a hospital or seeing a doctor. I was really lucky until I wasn't. A few months ago, I had an accident playing rugby. While making a tackle, I broke my cheekbone. The side of my face was collapsed in. I could feel a dent in my head while I'm sitting there on the field. And my first thought was, fuck, I hope my face is not dented forever. My second thought was, how much is this gonna cost? Because I have zero health insurance. So I go off the field, they take me in an ambulance to the emergency room. All of the x-rays, standard stuff in the emergency room, they say you gotta have surgery right away. Go into surgery that night, 3 screws placed in the bone here. They made me stay in the hospital 4 nights extra. This was a little bit overboard, but they wanted to give me antibiotic shots every couple hours. So I stayed in a private room for 4 nights in a really nice part of the hospital. 3 meals a day, really good setup. The final bill, including everything, the ambulance ride in the emergency room, the surgery, 4 nights, room and board, $1,150. In America, the ambulance ride would cost you way more than that. And just in case you're wondering, the quality is very high. Most of the doctors here, even in the local public hospitals, they've all studied in Australia or Europe or America, so it's the highest level you could hope for, and it costs you almost nothing. Now I know it probably sounds like I'm hating on America pretty hard right now, but I'm gonna keep going. But seriously, I'm proud of a lot of things about America. I'm happy with how I grew up. I have a great family. I had every opportunity I could ever ask for. Most people in Vietnam could only dream about the opportunities that I've had growing up in America, so I'm not saying that Vietnam is perfect. But for a country with a very low income, it's very safe here. I feel zero threat of physical danger, except maybe when I'm driving a motorbike. But I can't say that about America. I think guns are cool. My family has tons of them. But in Vietnam, you don't need any because it's safe here and nobody's breaking into your house to rob you. Not like where I'm from, Southside Chicago. So again, it might seem like I hate America. I really don't. I feel kind of like a calm parent. I'm not mad. I'm just a little disappointed. I'll still visit, I miss my family, but for me, Vietnam is the place I'm gonna live for a long time, and I'll probably never go back to living in America. It's not for everyone, but it is for me. It's not all peaches and rainbows here though, so check out this video, I'll talk about my pros and cons of.
That's a good point too. Like, different countries have their pros and cons overall, but he is highlighting a really good point. There's a lot of people that are moving from Western countries to like Eastern Europe, like Romania or parts of Africa or Latin America or Southeast Asia, for better prices with a higher quality of living. This video definitely highlights that in a small way. I got a bunch of videos on the channel about this, so go check out Travis Travels Vietnam. He made a really great video here. And then come like, comment, and subscribe here. I'm building to 1,000 subscribers now, so I can start monetizing the channel and helping more people. Basically, create a life of design. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.